It started with a sound. Not a bark. Not a cry. Something in between. A trembling whimper carried by the wind. Hidden behind a rusted dumpster in a forgotten alley lay a small, broken figure barely clinging to life. Her body shivered from pain, her eyes dim but still searching. Someone had done this to her. Someone had looked at this innocent dog and decided she didn't deserve kindness. But today, her story was about to change. She was covered in dirt, bruises, and blood. Her fur, once white maybe, was now matted and gray. She had been beaten so badly she could barely lift her head. It was a miracle she was even breathing. When 14-year-old Mia first saw her, the girl froze. For a few seconds, she couldn't even move. Then, with trembling hands, she whispered, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Mia had just finished school and was taking her usual shortcut home, headphones in, hoodie pulled tight against the chill. But that soft sound had pierced even her music. She wasn't planning on being a hero. But in that moment, something deep inside her shifted. She knelt slowly, careful not to scare the dog more than she already was. "It's okay," Mia said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you. I promise." The dog tried to back away but barely moved. A weak whimper escaped her again. Her eyes, clouded and swollen, locked with Mia's. And in those eyes, Mia saw something she'd never forget. Pain, yes, but also trust. A flicker of hope. Mia pulled out her phone and called her mom. "I need you. Please. Bring the car. I found a dog and she's in bad shape." Her mother, already used to Mia's soft spot for animals, didn't ask many questions. She arrived 10 minutes later, heart sinking the moment she saw the dog. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, kneeling beside her daughter. "We have to get her to the vet. Now." They wrapped the dog in Mia's hoodie and placed her gently in the back seat. Every bump on the road made her whimper. Mia held her hand out, letting the dog feel her presence, her warmth. "Hang in there," she whispered. "We're going to get you help." At the vet clinic, the staff moved fast. The dog was severely dehydrated, underweight, and had multiple untreated injuries, some old, some fresh. It was clear she had been abused over a long period. The vet's face was tight with anger as he examined her. "I don't know who did this," he said, "but she's lucky to be alive." Mia waited outside the exam room, biting her nails, eyes fixed on the door. Time felt slow. Every minute was a battle against fear. Fear that she had been too late. Finally, the vet came out. "She's stable," he said, "but it's going to be a long road. She's in pain. We gave her meds. She's resting now." Mia exhaled for what felt like the first time in hours. Over the next few days, Mia visited the clinic every afternoon. The dog, now named Hope, began responding to her voice. At first, it was just the slightest movement of her tail. Then she tried lifting her head when Mia entered. It was slow, painful progress. But it was progress. The vet staff noticed it too. "She's fighting because she knows someone cares," one nurse said. Mia's mom watched her daughter with quiet pride. Every night, Mia would read articles about recovery from trauma in animals, watch videos on gentle care techniques, and even set up a donation page to help cover vet bills. Within days, the community responded. People were horrified by what Hope had endured and inspired by Mia's commitment to her healing. Then, one evening, a nurse ran out of the exam room, eyes wide. "She stood up," she told Mia. "On her own. Just for a second, but she did it." Mia rushed in, tears already forming. Hope was wobbly, her legs shaky, but she stood, just barely, as Mia approached. Then, for the first time, that broken little dog wagged her tail. Mia knelt beside her. "You're amazing," she whispered. "You're so strong." But as Hope's body healed, deeper questions began to surface. Who had done this to her? And why? One afternoon, a man came into the clinic. He claimed he was Hope's original owner, and he wanted her back. End of section 1. Mia froze. The air in the clinic waiting room suddenly felt cold, tense. She looked at the man, tall, rough-looking, his clothes dirty, his eyes avoiding hers. Something about him felt wrong. "You're here for Hope?" Mia asked cautiously. "That's not her name," the man replied. "Her name's Daisy. She ran off a few weeks back. My dog. I want her back." Mia stepped protectively in front of the door to the recovery room. She didn't run off. She was beaten and left to die. The man's expression changed, just slightly, like he hadn't expected to be challenged. "She's mine. You got no right." By then, the clinic's head veterinarian, Dr. Ellis, stepped in. "Sir, we need proof of ownership and an explanation for her condition. She came in severely injured. Animal abuse is a serious offense." The man's face darkened. "You calling me a liar?" Dr. Ellis held his ground. "I'm saying we care about this dog. If you're her owner, the police will need to be involved." That's when he turned and stormed out, muttering under his breath. Mia stood frozen, heart pounding. For the first time, she felt a new kind of fear, not just for Hope's life, but for her safety. Later that evening, Mia and her mom sat at their kitchen table silent. A single desk lamp lit the room. "Do you think he'll come back?" Mia asked. Her mom sighed. "I don't know, but I've already spoken to the police. They're looking into it, and Hope's not going anywhere. She's safe." Meanwhile, at the clinic, Hope continued her slow recovery. But now her spirit seemed shaken. The moment Mia walked into her room the next day, Hope didn't wag her tail like she used to. She looked up, but the light in her eyes had dimmed. Mia sat beside her and stroked her gently. "Don't let him steal your strength," she whispered. "You've come so far. You're not going back. I promise." Days passed, then weeks. Hope began to walk again, first in short bursts, then longer. She learned to climb stairs again. She even started to play a little, tugging on a toy, her tail slowly regaining its rhythm. But even as her body healed, her past still lingered in her gaze. Mia never stopped coming. Rain or shine, after school, weekends, she was there, reading stories to Hope, singing to her, even just sitting in silence, so Hope never felt alone. Then came the moment they had all been hoping for. Dr. Ellis declared Hope strong enough to leave the clinic. She still needed care, but she could finally go to a home. The question was, whose? Mia didn't hesitate. She stood tall in the vet's office. "I want to adopt her," she said. "She's already part of my heart." Her mother nodded. "And part of our family." But it wasn't so simple. Legally, the claim by the man couldn't be ignored. Authorities were still investigating his background. It turned out he had a record, past charges of neglect, even cruelty. But nothing that had stuck. Until now, Dr. Ellis filed a formal report. And the evidence, the photos, the medical files, the community outrage, spoke louder than the man's threats. A week later, Mia got the call. "It's official," Dr. Ellis said. "She's yours. Hope is free." Mia burst into tears. Hope, sitting beside her, nuzzled into her lap as if she knew. The two were finally safe. Together. The following days were a dream. Hope explored Mia's home with cautious joy. Every couch corner, every sunbeam on the floor. It was all new territory. Her favorite spot became the foot of Mia's bed. That's where she'd curl up each night, her breathing soft, steady, safe. But healing wasn't just physical. There were still moments when Hope would flinch at sudden movements. Still times when thunder made her crawl under the table, trembling. Mia learned patience. She learned to speak with her eyes, her tone, her steady hands. She even joined an online support group for survivors of animal abuse, sharing Hope's story and hearing others. One evening, Hope did something unexpected. While Mia was sitting outside doing homework, Hope walked up and gently placed her paw on Mia's leg. Then, slowly, she laid her head in her lap. It was a moment of complete trust. Mia whispered, "I love you." But just when it seemed life had finally found balance, something happened. A rock crashed through their front window in the middle of the night. Glass shattered across the living room floor. Hope barked, loud, protective, fierce. Mia's mom screamed. They called the police immediately. On the sidewalk outside, they found a note, written in jagged letters. "She's mine. You can't keep her." The man was back. End of section 2. The police arrived within minutes. Officers scanned the broken glass, took photos of the note, and checked nearby security cameras. Mia held Hope tightly as the dog shook in her arms. Not from fear this time, but from fierce protectiveness. "We're not running," Mia said, her voice steady. "He doesn't get to scare us anymore." That night they didn't sleep, but they didn't hide either. Neighbors came by with support, comforting words, and offers to install better locks and cameras. The community that had rallied to save Hope once again stood strong. The next day, the police had a breakthrough. A nearby gas station camera caught the man's license plate. Within hours, they located him. He was arrested. But this time, things were different. The evidence, the photos, the history, the threats, was undeniable. He faced serious charges for animal abuse, trespassing, and harassment. He wouldn't be coming back. Not this time. Mia watched the news report with Hope curled beside her. It's over, she whispered into her fur. Really over. And it was. Weeks passed. The wounds left by fear and pain began to close, both in Hope's body and in her heart. She learned how to trust again. Not just Mia, but others too. She let new people pet her, sniffed hands without flinching, and even barked playfully in the park. Hope became more than just a survivor. She became a symbol. Mia started speaking at school events about animal abuse. She created a small organization called Hearts for Hope, raising awareness about rescue, rehabilitation, and kindness. Her story and hopes went viral. People from all over the world sent messages of love, gratitude, and encouragement. One letter read, "You reminded me that even in the darkest places, hope can live." Hope, now healthy and strong, would sit proudly next to Mia at every event. Kids would come up to pet her, whispering softly, "You're so brave." And she was. One spring afternoon, Mia took Hope to the place where it all began. That alley behind the dumpster. The spot looked different now. Cleaned. Brighter. Mia placed a single flower down and whispered, "Thank you for not giving up." Hope sat beside her, tail swishing gently, looking up at the sky. They had come full circle. Mia often thought about the night she found Hope, how easily she could have walked past. But she didn't. She chose to stop, to see, to care. And that choice saved a life. Because sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can rewrite an entire story. Moral of the story *, no creature deserves to suffer in silence. With love, patience, and courage, healing is possible. We all have the power to be the turning point in someone else's story. Just like Mia was for Hope. Hope didn't just survive. She triumphed. And through her, so did Mia. **. End of story.